Alright, hello and welcome here to Hard Hats TV. Thank you all for tuning in. This is the first game of our 49th annual Firecracker tournament. Post 22 Firecracker tournament here is going to get underway in a moment between this matchup, starting with this matchup between Missoula Mavericks of Missoula, Montana, and the Rocky Mountain Lobos of Fort Collins, Colorado. I'll be there with you in a moment. I need to write down some of these lineups. At some point in this broadcast, my father will join and take over on play-by-play. Though, of course, it is still very much a work day and whatnot. All right, real quick, let me write down these lineups. I'll be back in a moment. Current line, playing center field. Number 17, Phoenix West will be your third baseman. Number 6, Bradley Millette, playing first base. Number 14, Ross Frank will be your DH. Number 19, Wrigley Cox will be left fielder. Number 18, Brady Hall will be playing shortstop. Number 37, Aiden Nelson is your catcher. And number 3, Eric Dickinson will be the right fielder. Our opponents today in the field will be Logan Nostradel, and at center plate will be John McGrath. All right, we're getting started here. Ross Frank on the mound today for Rocky Mountain Lobos. Good morning to all of you. That one is hit into shallow, or the edge of the infield, caught cleanly by the third baseman, and that'll be out number 1.
That brings up number 16, Chris Montague.
Hit into center, underneath it, play is made. So out number 2 recorded now, here for the Lobos.
Brings up number 18, Henry Left.
Play is made, so that'll be out number 3. 1-2-3 inning in the top of the first here for the Lobos. They'll come out to hit now against Missoula. No hits, no runs, no earned runs, no errors, nobody left on base. It is still 0-0. It's now Rocky Mountain's turn.
Dr. Steiner will be number 47, Neil Eliason.
That'll get into left field. A gap single for the leadoff man. That is
Number 27,
Nate Eliason, the second baseman. So put him in. That's the first hit of the tournament here in the Firecracker. Up comes Kieran Line. Okay, fouled off. All right, 2-1 here to Lar. Check back at first, not in time. Trying to get Eliason leading off. Thank you all for joining us. So Kieran Lawing now up, the center fielder for Rocky Mountain. He fouls one back, so 2-2. They have shut down their recycling center and completely removed it from the parking lot out here near Fitzgerald Field in preparation for this tournament. That's just how much the Rapid City loves the Firecracker tournament. The whole city shut down the recycling center so that this thing could go noise-free. Always thanks to them. So 2-2 now. Kieran Lawing facing a 2-2 against the pitcher, Sam Matosic. He will reach on one and smack it in the left. So that'll be a single again. Oh, it gets past the left fielder. That'll score Eliason. Eliason coming around. And he'll stay at 2. So the error will score Eliason on the single from Lawing. How about that? Lobos get the first run of this tournament. Man gets over to second. Still nobody out here in the bottom of the first. Okay, Phoenix West now up the, not a high school. He puts it through the gap. The second baseman gets it. Will he throw to first in time? No, he will not. That was a great effort there by the Missoula second baseman, Luke Thornt, but nothing coming. Wasn't able to make a throw to first in time, so that'll be an infield single for the batter, Phoenix West. Man reaches third. So 3 straight hits here to start off the game here for Rocky Mountain. Great start for them. They went 2-4 in that Omaha tournament we went and the Hard Hats went and played in this last week. Well, I mean, I suppose it was a weekend ago, so pretty much a week ago. We were out there in Omaha playing the College World Series Legion tournament. The Hard Hats went 4-2 in that. Rocky Mountain 2-4. I don't think they were the only team that was from this either to go in there. I think the Papillion team was there. The Papillion Laverne team you will see later today. And, ooh, swing and a miss. Good pitch there from Matosic. He's trying to get his first out. Swung on and hit into left. That'll get down. So another single. Going to third now is going to be Phoenix West. He's going to get there. That'll score one more. He runs over to second on the fielder's choice. And we will have 2 men on and 2 men in. So 2-0 the score now here in the bottom of the first.
Next to the plate will be number 14, Ross Brady.
Sam Matosic off to a slow start here for Missoula. That one's popped up into right. The right fielder underneath it makes the first out of the game. Phoenix West will stay. They hit the runner. Now there's problems on the base paths. The man from third didn't want to go home. He's going to strand his fellow batter. And so a double play in a weird sort of situation. The throw hit the runner who was just standing at first because he, that's just routine on any sort of fly ball. And so the man on second, that was Bradley Mollett, he thought that he might as well come home. Phoenix West, who was on third, did not feel so, and he gets tagged out. That one's hit into right, foul territory, and out of play. So strike one. Okay, Wrigley Cox now up. Possibly named for the historic ballpark. Oh, wait. Hit him. So hit by pitch will put another man on first base. So that brings up the shortstop, Brady Hall. All right, Brady Hall, the shortstop. He's trying to record the fifth hit of the inning here for Rocky Mountain, and trying to bring home Phoenix West from third. Hall with a very straight up stance. He drives that one into hard into right. It is fielded cleanly. The right fielder able to track it down, so that'll end the inning. Bottom of the first, Rocky Mountain pounces on the Mavericks, gets 2 runs to start things out. They'll come back out in the top of the second, hand it back over to Ross Frank. So to recap that inning, Rocky Mountain had 4 hits. They scored 2 runs. Neither were earned. There was 1 error on the left fielder, and there was 2 men left on base, making it 2-0 here in the going into the second. Coming out for Missoula will be the catcher, Jace Bycarry, followed by the designated hitter, Owen McGuinn, and first baseman, Easton Reimers. Thank you all for joining us here in our first game of the Firecracker tournament. In between these innings, I'm going to quickly set up the other streams. Right after this will be Missoula playing the Pueblo Azteca. So Bycarry now coming up. He's the catcher and cleanup man. He's got nobody on the bases to clean up. He fouls one off. So 0-1 to start things out here in the top of the second. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Ross Frank closing in on a first strikeout of the game. That one is lined into right. It'll get down. It's going along the line all the way to the wall. Coming around is Bycarry. He's headed for 2. He'll be told to stay. So a leadoff double from Jace Bycarry gets the first hit of the game for Missoula, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, Owen McGuinn. That's a great start here. Ross Frank was really settling into something. They break it up. Fouled off, so strike 1. That's going to be right down the... Nope. Ball. A little bit off the plate. So we're looking at a 1-2 count, or 1-1 count, I want to say. Bycarry leading off of second. Swing and a miss, strike 2. So I believe it's a 1-2 now. Yep, 1-2 count. Here to McGuinn. Owen McGuinn. Digging in. The pitch from Frank is slapped over to second. Handle cleanly, throw to first in time. So an out will be recorded. Ground out to first, or ground out to the second baseman. It will advance the runner over to third with 1 out. So up comes Easton Reimers. Easton Reimers getting set. He watches one right down the middle. Frank having good command and a solid amount of velocity here, throwing mid-80s, I'd have to say. I think that's about fair, maybe low to mid-80s from Ross Frank. He swings and misses at one. He gets to the backstop, gets away from the catcher, and that'll get the man home. Or that'll bring the man home. So the first run will score here for the Mavericks. That'll be the first one to come around. It is 0-2 in the count. Nobody on the bases anymore. Wild pitch brings in by carry. Fouled off. The at-bat will continue. Frank trying to get him looking, or trying to catch him looking. Easton Reimers hits it just over the third baseman's head. A very valiant effort there from third baseman Phoenix West, but he jumped all the way up, used all of his might, and it was about 3 inches too tall for him. That'll be a single for Easton Reimers. That'll bring up the shortstop, Colin Boyce. So, second hit of the inning. Taken high. Ball 1. Tying run now on first base. He goes. So that'll be strike 1. Unable to hold up on the check swing. Strike 2, delivered right down the pipe. 1-2. Frank somehow still does not have a strikeout. He's been ahead in the count plenty. That one is drilled right back up the middle, handled by the shortstop, throw to second, and that'll be a double play. So a very clean 6-4-3 double play is recorded. That'll end the inning. So we enter the bottom of the second. Missoula comes back with one more run of their own. They make it a 1-2 game. They're going to have to see if they can record these outs right now against the Rocky Mountain Lobos. Lobos jumped all over them, got 4 runs in the first. Got 2 runs in the first on 4 hits. And so there you go. We'll see the 8, 9, and 1 are in the due-up. The catcher, Aiden Nelson, will be leading off this inning for the Lobos. So to recap that inning, Missoula has 2 hits. They score 1 run. That run was earned to the pitcher Ross Frank. There were no errors, and nobody was left on base. So it becomes 1-2 now, entering the bottom of the second. That one is hit right back up the middle. What a play! How about that? Sam Matosic snags one coming back at him at nearly, if not 100 miles per hour. He falls to the ground, smack in the glove. Matosic reaction times really up. Must have been playing a few video games. And Wow, that is not a play you see every day. Not only does he get out of trouble and avoid injury, he's able to record the out. That's a special kind of thing. You'll see that on the highlight reels. That one fouled and out of play. Gonna be plenty of foul balls in this one. I believe if you bring them back, you'll still get $1 thanks to, I don't know. There was a sponsor last time that was doing this. Fouled off. That was for the Black Hills, Classic, or the Black Hills Veterans Classic tournament earlier this year. That was about a month ago. Nubbed over to short. Handled, but not in time. The shortstop there for Missoula really had to reach down in the dirt to grab it. Couldn't quite make it cleanly. Or he reached down, made the clean play, but really messed up his momentum. So that is the shortstop Boyce. That'll be an infield single for the right fielder Eric Jacobson, bringing up the leadoff man Nate Eliason. He got a single and came around to score to lead off the first inning. So put a man on first. Sorry about your scoreboard right now. Let's try to set up some of the other streams real quick. So Eliason digging in. He'll get his first pitch here from Matosic. Taken high. That'll be ball one. 1-0 now. If you're enjoying this or happy we're doing all the games here, make sure that you tune in for all the rest of the games of whatever team you support. Grounded up the line, and it gets through! Phoenix West, or sorry, not Phoenix West, the third baseman, Shulin Fairchild, unable to make the grab. Greedy base running will lead to an out, though. Eric Jacobson tries to take third on the error by the third baseman, and he's unable to, so gun down. That'll be out number 2. Man reaches second, though, on the fielder's choice. So Eliason on second now. That'll bring up Kieran Lawing, the center fielder. One out is hit right to third. That'll be cleanly fielded by Fairchild, and that'll be the final out. So, Mavericks don't surrender any in the bottom of the second. The game remains 2-1. They will have their turn to equalize in the top of the third coming up. To recap the bottom of the second for the Lobos, they get 1 hit. They score no runs. There are no earned runs. There is 1 error on the third baseman. And there was 1 man left on base. It remains 2-1. Coming back out is going to be the pitcher for the Lobos, Ross Frank. He will face the 8-9-1 himself now. Leading off will be second baseman Luke Thornt. That is melted into right, and good play made there by the right fielder for the Lobos. That is Eric Jacobson. He'll record the first out. A little bit of a hopping catch, out number 1 in the top of the 3rd. So Shulin Fairchild, he hits that one high. Left fielder slips a little, makes the grab nonetheless, loses his hat. That is the left fielder Wrigley Cox, out number 2 on 2 pitches. Cox making quick work, Frank making quick work of Missoula in the top of the 3rd. I did notice a little bit of a slip there. It's a gorgeous day, fouled off, so we will face more than 3 pitches in this inning. 0-1. Grounded, back to Frank, underhand to first, in time. So 1-2-3 inning on 4 pitches. You never see that. So Frank not only faces the minimum, he uses near the minimum amount of pitches you need to make in order to make the outs. So that'll be the top of the 3rd. Missoula has no hits, no runs, no earned runs. There were no errors on the Lobos, and nobody was left on base. It remains 1-2. They're going to have to contain this Lobos team again. Coming out for his 3rd inning of work is Sam Matosic. If you're not already if you're not already thinking about going to these games, make sure you do. They will be here. We'll be playing 4 games today, 5 games tomorrow, 5 games on Sunday, and 5 games on Monday, followed by the championship games on Tuesday, July 4th, next week. There is a football in the Lobos dugout. They are throwing it up against the netting above the dugout, having it come back to them. Wonder why the football's there.
Plate is number 17, Phoenix West.
Line through the gap. So that one is smoked in between the second and first baseman. It'll get into the outfield. Leadoff single now for Phoenix West, his 2nd single of the day. Put a man on to start out the bottom of the 3rd.
The plate is number 6, Bradley Millette.
Up comes Bradley Millette. He is the cleanup man. He has 1 man on to clean up the first baseman Millette. Getting set. Swing and a miss at Matosic's first pitch. Pops it up. This catcher thinks he might be able to make a play. He does. So the out recorded there by the catcher by carry. And first out now on the books for Missoula in the bottom of the 3rd.
Number 14, Ross Frank.
Ross Frank, the pitcher slash hitter here, going to try to help his own cause, get himself a few more bits of cushion. First time up, he flew out to right into what would eventually become a double play on the base pads after a weird throw hit somebody, or hit Frank actually, who was just sitting at first. That one flied into center, caught cleanly. So out number 2. Coming up now, Wrigley Cox, the left fielder. Wrigley reached on a hit by pitch last time.
The plate will be number 19, Bradley Cox.
1-0. That'll be a good pitch. It catches the inside of the plate. Good break there from Matosic. Make it 1-1 count. 2 outs here, 1 man on. Pickoff attempt at first, unsuccessful. Checking on Phoenix West. West got to third and failed to score last time. Taken off of the plate, 2-1. Lobos trying to extend their lead. Flied foul and out of play. Fouled off. Coming back will be Phoenix West. He thought that he would have to, he was trying to steal a base there. But the foul ball will bring him back. 2-2 count now here to Wrigley Cox. Hit him. So Cox will reach on his second hit by pitch of the day. He's racking up some bruises and some bases. So men on first and second, 2 outs. Coming up now, the shortstop, Brady Hall. He lined out to the right fielder to end the first. He will now come up with 2 men on with the chance at redemption. Inside ball taken. Also maybe could have hit the batter there. Inside. Taken for ball 2.
Way back.
Three 0 count. Matosic trying to fight out of it. Gives a strike. Never mind. Going to be some time granted for a pitching visit by the catcher there. That is by Carey. Bases loaded now. 4 straight balls unloaded to the batter, Hall. Now coming up, Aiden Nelson. He had a hard hit ball right back up the middle to start out the second, which was amazingly caught by Matosic to get the first out of the inning. So, bases loaded, 2 outs. This is where heroes are made. Nelson trying to extend this lead for the Lobos. Next Level Baseball just walked in. They won't play till 4:30. So I saw them arrive. That is lined into right. That'll get through. So coming in to score is going to be West. Cox going to come around as well. The throw home, not in time. 2 more runs score on the single from Aiden Nelson. Lobos now take a 4-1 lead. How about that? 2-out single, courtesy runner. All catchers have a courtesy runner option in this tournament. Yeah, Next Level Baseball getting in here, getting set for their game later today against Papillion Laverne, post 32, and from Papillion, a suburb of Omaha in Nebraska. So up comes Eric Jacobson. He got a single and was caught at third, trying to take an extra base back in the second. all of Next Level Baseball here. They're coming all the way from Asheville, North Carolina for this tournament. They are by far the furthest travelers. Probably most of their first trips to South Dakota in any respect, if I were to guess. I mean, you don't, unless your family made a Rushmore trip, you don't really come out here too often. That's going to be a ground out, so that'll end the inning. Lobos tack on 2 more on the single by Aiden Nelson, and that'll be at the bottom of the third. To recap the bottom of the third, there were 2 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, no errors, and 2 men left on base to make it 4-1 for the Lobos. Now they try to defend that lead. They'll face pretty much the top of the order, the 2, 3, and 4 here for Missoula in the top of the 4th. Matosic had that thing pretty well, controlled. He had a man on first, 2 outs. Then he hit Cox, then a 4-pitch walk to Hall, and then allowed a single from Nelson that brought home 2. I mean, all of that on 2 outs, you got to feel like maybe he unraveled a little there.
Team number 16, Chris Compton.
Lined into right. That'll be a single, or even more. It's going to get all the way to the wall. Coming around is going to be Compton. Compton takes his second base. He will stay there. He maybe could have gotten more, but a leadoff double nonetheless for Chris Compton. Missoula responds. Up comes Henry Black, the right fielder. His last time up, he grounded out to the first baseman. Leadoff double sets the tone for the inning. The lefty, Black, going to come in. All 3 outfielders represent the first 3 in the order here. Center fielder Carter Taylor will be his leadoff. Then the left fielder Chris Compton is second, and third is right fielder Henry Black. Something that the Hard Hats did at the beginning of the year with Amarion Saylor, Zeke Farley, and the outfielder and the right fielder Harry Good before Amarion went down with injury. Now the middle of the lineup, or the middle infielders, kind of lead off for the Hard Hats. So 1-1 now for Henry Black. Like I said, Next Level Baseball, they're showing up. They're going to look at their competition. They'll get to play most of these teams. Only a 7-team pool with 4 days of pool play. You'll get to play, I think it's 6. I think, yeah, 6. So you'll get to play pretty much everybody except for 2 teams get to play the Expos because a team dropped out. So at 2-1 now. Popped up. The left fielder going to range after it and not going to get there. Gave it his best shot. In foul territory, it'll land foul. So 2-2. Trying to keep the tone of the inning. Scoreboard operator struggling a little. There are no outs. In the dirt. That'll be a ball, so full count now. Full count. Offering coming up to Henry Black. Lobos pitcher Ross Frank set to deliver the payoff. Here it is. Grounded over to first. Handled cleanly. Throw to first will record the first out of the inning. So out number 1. And that'll advance Compton over to third. That's a very strange thing. Back-to-back groundouts where the first baseman is thrown to the pitcher. You don't see that too often, but that'll be the first out here. Now Jace Bycarry, the catcher, going to come up. He had a leadoff double and represents the only run Missoula has passed across this game so far. 0-1. He's got Compton sitting there on third with just one out. A good ground out, a bunt, a fly out to deep. All of these could bring home the runner. It's 0-2 now for Bycarry. He's the cleanup man. He's got a man on third, looking a little bit messy. Taken off the plate, good eye. 1-2. We've got some songbirds very excited about that. A common American finch here. Or sorry, a pine grosbeak. That one poked at over to third. It's not going to be fielded cleanly. The throw is way high. It slipped out of the third baseman's hand. Running over to second is Bycarry. That'll score one. An error on the third baseman. He couldn't grab the liner. Then he tries to throw to first, and it all falls out of his hand. Phoenix West, his second error of the day at third base. That'll score one. The Mavericks now down by 2 here in the top of the fourth. They will have a man on second. They will elect not to use a pinch runner or a courtesy runner. Understandable. Missoula, now another man scoring position. The DH, McGuinn, puts it right back up the middle. Throw to first in time. So out number 2 recorded. It will advance Bycarry to third. Easton Reimers now up. So Easton Reimers takes one. Looking, that'll be a strike. 0-1. Reimers got a single and then was a double play victim to end the second. Taken off the shoulder. First hit by pitch here for Frank today. Put another man on. This is kind of how it started to happen for Matosic in the bottom of the third. Man, our scoreboard operator having some real difficulties. They're saying it's 3-3. They're saying there's 2 runs in this inning. Yeah, it's just kind of a difficult situation, I guess. So coming up now is the shortstop, Colin Boyce. He grounded out into that double play to end the second. Strike on the edge of the plate. Going for second now on the throwback. You don't see that every time. Stolen base successful for Easton Reimers. Put a man on second. 2 men in scoring position. He was waiting for the catcher, Aiden Nelson, to lollipop it over to Frank, and he did so. So a stolen base is recorded. Men on second and third, 2 outs. A single here could bring home 2 runs and tie this game. The tying run sitting there on second with the first baseman Reimers, Colin Boyce, getting set. The other team was able to do it. Lobos were able to capitalize on 2 runs on 2 outs in the bottom of the third just last inning. So 1-2 now to Boyce. Swing and a miss, way outside the zone. Stretch out slider maybe from the pitcher. Frank, he gets his first K of the day, strands 2 runners, still allows 1 in the bottom or the top of the fourth. Missoula brings it closer. They are now down 4-2. To recap that inning for Missoula, they had 1 hit. They scored 2 runs, or 1 run. That run was unearned. There was 1 error on the third baseman, Phoenix West, and there were 2 men left on base, making it a 2-4 ball game. We now reach the halfway point of this game. All games are 7 innings in this tournament, unless extras are required. Lobos will get their turn. The top of the order will be faced here. Matosic going to come back out for his 4th inning of work. He allowed 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. Both of them earned to him. Yet to record a K, but that's not necessarily the biggest deal. He made an amazing catch on a lineout right back at the mound. I see my father. Let me transition these microphones real quick. Never mind, let me just take this one out of the hold. He will be, Father Mike Fell will be taking you through the rest of this game on play-by-play when he shows up. He's at the concession stand at the moment. But here we are, bottom of the 4th. Matosic is going to face the leadoff man, Nate Eliason. Eliason reached on an error back in the 2nd, got over to 2nd, and then led off the game with a single and a run. That's a strike. Catches the upper inside part of the plate. Good pitch there from Mathiasen. That one is lined into center. Handled cleanly, out number 1. Kieran Lowing now up. Or Kieran Lowing. Kieran Lawing, the center fielder, has a single, a run, and a line out. He lined out to the 3rd baseman. It was a good play made there right after an error by Missoula's 3rd baseman, Shulin Fairchild. That is going to be an out. Good play there from the shortstop. Gets it just in time to get the man, out number 2. Phoenix West going to come back up. He is 2 for 2 on the day with a pair of singles and a run. It is lined into the gap and right. It's going to get caught. Wow. Great job there by the right fielder, Henry Black. Or sorry, not Henry Black. Yes, Henry Black. He makes the out. So 1-2-3 inning there for Matosic, and that'll be the 4th. Missoula creeps a little bit closer. They enter the 5th, down 2. Good game shaping up here.
And good afternoon, everybody. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell's father, coming in to bring you the next couple of innings. Rocky Mountain leading Missoula 4-2. This is the 2nd appearance of the season for the Missoula Mavericks on Hard Hats TV. The post-22 Hard Hats were victorious against the Missoula Mavericks in Game 2 of the first Sunday doubleheader in the month of May back at Joe Pertz Field in Billings, Montana. And it was great to see Missoula then, great to see them again. And welcome to the Lobos, who are here from the Fort Collins area. Rocky Mountain currently leading 4-2. Big thank you, Oliver, for giving everyone the first 4 innings. I'm balancing my work duties on Friday here over at Riverfront Broadcasting. And
see who's here?
Who is here?
We've got the next level baseball team from North Carolina, Asheville.
You know, it's funny, if you've seen the movie, everybody, Bull Durham, the Asheville, North Carolina tourists are featured because that's the team that Crash Davis, the main character played by Kevin Costner, signed a contract at the end of the season to make sure he set the minor league home run record. And in this setting, this team from Asheville, North Carolina, they're kind of our tourists this weekend.
Yeah, they really are. I bet this is I'm going to say 95% of the team, this is almost certainly their first trip to South Dakota.
Yeah, and you know what? We're very happy to have them. What
Yep.
an elite team, one of the top 20 ranked teams in the United States of America,
Hmm.
and that's special. You know when you have a top 20 team that some of these players you might see someday at the College World Series or at the Major League Baseball level at some point, and
Hmm.
we're going to be treated to such great baseball for the next 5 days, and
Yep.
some people take cruises around the Caribbean for like four days. If you're like a baseball fan, you don't have to take a cruise. Just come on down to Fitzgerald Stadium in the day and the night. And if you can't make it, we'll be with you going the whole way, and we're happy about that. Back to action. Ball up the middle, handled by the pitcher. Quick flip to first for out number one. Luke Thornt is retired 1-3 if you're keeping score at home. And now Shulin Fairchild steps up to bat. Shulin flew out to right field his first time up, and he'll make his second appearance. Missoula is quite a distance. I can tell you that Missoula, Montana, there's a strike, pitch number one in the at bat. Missoula is, of course, the location of where the University of Montana Grizzlies are located. There's a swing and a miss. And I was talking with Kelvin Torvey from the Post 22 Hard Hats when Post 22 faced Missoula, and he told a pretty comical story that they didn't realize how far Missoula was from Rapid City. The ball is struck to center, and that will be caught for out number two. Good catch there made by the Lobos center fielder,
Runners at number 2, Carter Taylor.
Karen Lowing. But what I thought was funny was as they were driving to Missoula, they realized they had a problem. They had exceeded the number of driver mileage hours legally allowed, and the bus driver for Post 22 had to be relieved, I think, because it was so far of a distance. They didn't realize how far Missoula was from Rapid City. And there's a infield pop handled by the first baseman who loses his hat but catches the ball. And that is a 1-2-3 inning as Carter Taylor is retired, flying out to the first baseman. So that's a 1-2-3 inning. The Missoula Mavericks go down in order in the top half of the fifth, and now we're in the middle of the fifth with Rocky Mountain leading Missoula 4-2. But how about that story there, Oliver, about the
Yeah.
excessive bus hours?
You have to wonder, is that a coach that comes in or just one of the guys?
You can't really go to the bullpen to relieve a bus driver.
Yeah.
It doesn't work
One
that
of those bullpen guys. I mean, it's U18. You live out here in South Dakota long enough, you're making some road trips.
way. You just are, but I thought it was pretty comical.
Hmm.
Missoula and western Montana, for that matter, a long, long ways away. A good friend of mine and his wife Trent and Kelly Luce, they are actually in Livingston, Montana, and they're checking up on what's going on in the aftermath of that train derailment. Please put your thoughts and prayers in the direction of the good folks in Montana, because last week a bridge gave out and some train cars with chemicals, very dangerous chemicals, fell into the Yellowstone River. And things are a little different in that part of the West
Number
because
6, Riley
the
West.
water will, the rivers actually flow to the north. And hopefully the folks in Billings, Montana will be spared any water contamination issues, but a very delicate situation up there in Montana with the Yellowstone River. First pitch is an outside strike to Bradley Moletz.
Hmm.
Moletz 1 for 2 in this ball game. You'll see the pitcher Sam Medicic, the starter for Missoula. That's
Yeah, I
pitched
think it's just
well. So
Milosic.
Milosic, thank you, Oliver. He's
It's
pitched
my
well so
handwriting.
far. Well, your handwriting is better than my own.
Yeah,
You,
I wouldn't say so. Yours is just hard to read because it's cursive like. So all the lines are so close. Oh, here comes the other team we're gonna play. This is, if I'm not mistaken, this should be Missoula's
Pueblo,
next opponent. Yep.
Pueblo Azteca. There's a dribbler to the shortstop who muffs the grounder, and it just looked as though the shortstop for Missoula who committed the error as Bradley Maletta reaches base. Mallette reaches base. It looked as though he was thinking about throwing the ball before he got the ball securely handled in his glove. And that's one of the keys to playing shortstop. You got to handle the ball first, then you have to make the throw. Now here comes Ross Frank. Ross 0 for 2 in the ball game with a pair of flies to the outfield. Mavericks trailing by only 2, trying to keep it close here in the home half of the 5th inning. And there's a throw, and it gets past the first baseman. Now here goes the runner to second, and he is safe. A diving play made by effort there by Bradley Millette, able to advance from station to station from first to second base. And now Ross Frank, with an 0-1 count, has a man in scoring position trying to get a key insurance run across here in the opening game of the 2023 Firecracker Legion Tournament. Pitch from Losich is fouled down the right field line, out of play. Ross Frank now down in the count 0-2. The Lobos have a man on second. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th inning, holding a 4-2 advantage. They have been out hit by Missoula 3-2 in this morning's game. Ball is struck to left field. Handled by the shortstop. Throw to first is scooped out very well for out number 1. Man alive, was that an impressive piece of glove work right there by first baseman Easton Reimers. Great job right there by Mr. Reimers for out number 1. Man, did he dig that out impressively. The ball was on target. It was just a bit low. Now here comes Wrigley Cox. Wrigley today hit by a pitch. Both times he's come up to the plate.
He's got a little bit of a bruised shoulder over there, I'd have to say.
He's what you call a pitch magnet. Here comes the pitch to Wrigley Cox. Cox's pitch is outside.
Here's a little bit of a fun fact for you. The guy who currently holds the record for single season hit by pitches, you might say that's not something you can control. That's not something you can do. It's just kind of weird. He owns the record by 8 pitches. This is the MLB record, and it's Brandon Geyer, formerly of the Indians.
Wow. That's impressive, Oliver.
Yeah, he made an art out of taking hits, hit by pitches, which is like, how much can you control that? But still.
Well, for one thing, it shows a certain level of valor and a willingness to do what it takes to get on base. Here we go. Here comes the pitch from Milosic. The ball is hit hard to center field and playable. It is caught for out number 2. So, nice recovery by Sam Milosic, the starting pitcher for the Missoula Mavericks. He had a man reach base on an error on the shortstop, but he has been able to strand, to this point, Bradley Millette at second base, recording 2 consecutive outs. So now here comes Brady Hall. Brady 0 for 1 with a walk, trying to drive home a key insurance run here. Good pitch from Milosic is over for strike 1. Mavericks, quality baseball program from Western Montana, trying to get that first win of the tournament, but they're down 2. And there's a pass ball. Catcher fails to come up with a routine pitch just off the plate. And now the count moves to 1-1, and advancing on the wild pitch is Bradley Millette. Well, this has been a turnstile of errors for Bradley Millette. He reached on an error, advanced on a throw to first that got away, and then got to third on a wild pitch, and he almost thought about breaking the home plate on another pass ball. The catcher for Missoula, Jace Vicari, really struggling, somewhat living vicariously, or vicariously if you want to twist his name a little bit, with some of these pitches here in the bottom of the 5th. Ball is struck down the line and out of play. Count now moves to 1-2, and Sam Milosic is just one strike away from stranding Millette at third base and keeping this score at 4-2. Here comes the pitch from Millette, and it's a swing and a miss for strike three. What a recovery. Talk about getting off the mat, well, I guess. What a great job there by Sam Milosic as he records the strikeout, and no one scores for the Rocky Mountain Lobos in the home half of the first inning. There were no runs, there were no hits, there was one error. There was one man left at third base. So we go to the sixth inning with the Rocky Mountain Lobos leading 4-2. We'll see if the Missoula Mavericks, who come in 25-24 on the season, playing their 50th game of the year, can find a way to rally, as the heart of the order will be coming up in the visiting half of the sixth inning with Compton, Black, and Vicari due up for Missoula, Montana.
Yeah, definitely a big pitch there from the pitcher Milosic. He was able to strand the runner, able to keep it a 2-run game. Coming back out for his now fifth inning or sixth inning of work is going to be Knox. So we're going to see how that pans out. Or Frank, sorry. Ross Frank will be coming back out. I don't know where Knox came from. But nonetheless, here we go. I do see that Pueblo Azteca team going to come in. They're going to be the team that faces Missoula next. Missoula doing a little bit of a doubleheader today. They're the only team playing twice. Today, other teams, I think everybody gets a doubleheader day at some point in this tournament, but it's Missoula today. They'll get to play an 18-3 Pueblo Azteca team that looks really fearsome.
All right, here we go. Thank you for that, Oliver. We go into the top half of the second inning. Pitch from Ross Frank is outside for a strike. The Missoula Mavericks down to their final 6 outs, trailing by 2 runs as we begin inning number 6. Missoula scored in the second and the fourth inning. One of the men to cross home plate is the man at the plate right now, Chris Compton, who fouls the ball off his left foot, and that definitely put Chris in a bit of pain as he hops out of the batter's box and winces just a bit.
Now, call me crazy. I might, as a batter, I don't know if this would do anything, I might put a small piece of something in my pocket or my sock there in case of those situations.
Ball is hit back to the pitcher, who easily handles the slow-moving baseball and flips the first for out number 1. So Chris Compton now 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Leadoff man is retired for Missoula. Now here comes Henry Black. Henry twice has grounded out to the first baseman, who dished to the pitcher covering. There's a pop-up, and it is caught by the shortstop for out number 2. And Ross Frank being extremely efficient. He's recorded 2 outs on just 3 pitches.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to see from your opening pitcher. Probably not the guy that you would say is your number 1, but you want to put him out there. They don't make anybody else work. They probably work the whole game, and they're doing a great job.
Jace Vicari, now the hitter, the left-handed swinger, fouls off the first pitch. Second pitch is over or just off the plate for a ball. Jace Vicari, 1 for 1 on the afternoon. He doubled and scored back in the second inning, and was able to reach on an error back in the fourth. Next pitch is a strike. Next pitch is hit back to the pitcher, and that is a routine 1-2-3 inning for Ross Frank and the Rocky Mountain Lobos, who celebrate a quick top half of the 6th inning. The score is now 4-2. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base, and we move to the bottom of the 6th inning with the Rocky Mountain Lobos on top 4-2. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. Glad to have you along wherever you may be watching, whether you're tuning in from the Centennial State of colorful Colorado, or if you're tuning in from Big Sky Country.
Or if you're just watching the tourney.
Or you're just watching the tourney. We're happy to have you aboard, and it's just absolutely great to have you on board.
So I do understand that it is a gorgeous day right now. I understand that the forecast says that there should be a significant chance of rain later in the afternoon, but that could lead to, if this game is running pretty quick, I'd say it's 12:30 here. It's only been an hour since first pitch. Um, you'd have to think that if this goes a little bit, if this goes quicker, they might push it up a little to try to buy themselves some time against that forecast.
That's a great observation. In fact, it was announced earlier today that the Black Hills Speedway fireworks display scheduled for tonight, or was moved, or actually it was announced yesterday that the fireworks display was moved to Sunday night and not tonight. And also regarding the weather, the hydrant parties in the park at Robbinsdale Park, that's already been postponed because of the weather forecast. So certainly we'll keep an eye on the sky. I always tell everybody out here the Black Hills make their own weather. That's really how it works. We now move along to the bottom of the sixth inning. Sam Milosich out for his sixth inning of work. First pitch is a dandy. Nice cutter over the plate for strike one. Aiden Nelson up to bat. Aiden, the broad-framed catcher, digs in, waits for the first pitch from Milosich, second pitch from Milosich, and that ball is fouled back to the netting for strike two. A well-pitched game, relatively clean defense, nice crowd on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the fans that are here are not locals, they're fans of the teams either playing in this game or the teams fans of the game coming up. There's a ball clipped back to the screen. That was strike three, but that is going to be an advance to first base, as that was a swing on a wild pitch, and now we're going to have a courtesy runner, or a pinch runner as they call it. And coming in to run is number 23 for the Rocky Mountain Lobos. And Aiden Nelson, in a very unusual way, able to reach on a strikeout. And the leadoff man is on board for a Rocky Mountain Lobos team that hails from the Fort Collins area. It's kind of interesting seeing the Lobos and saying Fort Collins, because many times the New Mexico Lobos visit Fort Collins to play the Colorado State Rams.
Mm-hmm.
And those are Mountain West rivals. The Lobos, of course, New Mexico, University of New Mexico, makes their campus is in Albuquerque. Ball is hit hard to left field for a base hit. And now there are two on with nobody out. Eric Jacobson able to lace a base hit to left field. And now two on with nobody out. And we move to the top of the order for the Rocky Mountain Lobos. Lobos, one of three teams from the state of Colorado to appear in this legendary Firecracker tournament. Ball is hit up the middle and through for a base hit. That'll score a run. Coming home from second base is Aiden Nelson, or rather the pinch runner for Aiden Nelson. And now the score is 5-2. There's an RBI single from Nate Eliason. And it's now a 3-run ball game, and the scoring threat still very much in play, as Eric Jacobson on that RBI single moved from first to second base. Eliason's at first base, and here comes Kaylin Lowing. Pitch to Lowing is over for a strike. Well, Sam Milosich seemingly had things right where he wanted them. He got the leadoff man to strike out, but due to a very odd set of events, the ball got past the catcher, and that just opened the floodgates here on what could be a bottom half of the sixth that could very well decisively give the Lobos a lead that they will not relinquish in the seventh. Next pitch is over for a strike, and now Lowing is down 0-2. Lowing 1 for 3 in today's ball game. Here comes the pitch to Lowing. The ball is popped up, and It will be missed by a
Ah.
Missoula Mavericks fan who reached out and just didn't have the arm distance to wingspan, I guess, to make that grab. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Curran Lowing. The pitch is fouled back. Lowing fighting hard, showing some tenacity in this at bat. Trying to advance the runners at the very least.
Yeah, it's a
Perhaps
pivotal one.
drive in a fourth insurance run with the Lobos on top 5-2 here in the bottom of a very fast moving ball game. Ball is popped up and out of play. Oliver, when I came over from Riverfront Broadcasting a little while ago, I thought I'd be joining the game in about the third or fourth inning, and it was already in the fifth inning.
Oh yeah, this whole thing is running quick. We're only an hour and 6 minutes removed from the first pitch, and this thing might only go about an hour 30. The quickest game the Hard Hats played all year was recorded against Sheridan last week in Omaha. They played a 4-2 game. The Hard Hats got out of there in an hour 24.
We had a bit of a delay. The umpire came over, and I'm not sure
I
what
think
he.
he had to get more balls.
Oh,
They're all getting fouled off here by line.
yeah, they got to get the little ones to get those balls rounded up. Make sure the ball supply is where it needs to be here on the weekend of the 4th of July. Here comes the 0-2 pitch after 3 consecutive foul balls on an 0-2 count. That pitch is going to be a ball, and now we have a delay.
They're going to have a pitching meeting.
And they'll have a conference on the mound. This could be the end of the day for Sam Milosic. He may have bumped up against his pitch count total. And I think that's it. Sam Milosic goes 5 innings, faced a couple of hitters in the bottom of the 6th inning, and he leaves and gets a nice round of applause from the fans here at Fitzgerald Stadium. I want to give a shout out to Wayne Sullivan, general manager of the Rapid City Post 22 Hard Hats, and I had an opportunity to visit with Wayne Sullivan on News Radio KOTA earlier in the week, and it's so exciting to hear about all the plans for this tournament. And how about the city of Rapid City? They eliminated the waste disposal or recycling center that was down the first base line and added 50 more parking spots for the tournament. And now we don't have to hear that annoying beeping sound that we
Or the
heard
crashes
during,
you hear from all the buckets.
Exactly. And folks can still go to the landfill with their disposables and do their environmental best. I, by the way, am not an award-winning recycler. No,
your carbon footprint is crazy. How many miles you drive, your lack of recycling. I mean, your process, all of that. I mean, you don't buy a ton, which helps. You don't have like a ton of things that require all the carbon to make, but you got quite the footprint, is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Passing it on to me. You won't see the consequences.
I won a nature badge when I was a kid.
Yeah, and then since then it's all went downhill.
Yes. Here comes the 1-2 pitch, and that is outside for ball 2. Karen Lowing, waiting for the next pitch, and the ball is hit hard, and will it land fair? It will! It is just inside the left field line. That will bring home a run, and 2 runs actually, as there will be no throw to the plate as the ball came to the shortstop, who just kind of looked up when he got the ball. And that's a 2-run, a 2 RBI stand-up double for Curran Lowing. And Nate Eliason and Eric Jacobson cross home plate, and now this game has been broken wide open at 7-2. Ball is hit hard by Phoenix West, and it is caught by the shortstop for the first out of the inning. Phoenix 2 for 2 now in the ball game. Well, the Lobos from Fort Collins, Colorado, really have this game where they want it to stand now, leading 7 to 2, and still with a man at second base in the person of Curran Lowing. We'll see if the Lobos, as the first pitch to Bradley Moulette is a strike, can extend their advantage to 8 runs. The scoreboard operator has not been keeping up with the
They've
hits.
had a rough day, I'll be honest.
Okay, but we have been keeping up with hits at Hard Hats TV. Here comes the pitch, and that ball is high and inside. The count now moves to 2-1. A lot of Major League Baseball games today being played at all different times of day. Got afternoon games and evening games. We'll keep you updated on scores around the big leagues as we move along. Next pitch is low and out inside for ball 3. Big congratulations to the Louisiana State University Tigers, champions of the College World Series for the 7th time in their program history. And there's a swing and a miss. Strike 2. That pitch really pulled the string on Bradley Moulette right there, as he had a hard time with that off-speed pitch from the Missoula relief pitcher who's out there now. Here comes the next pitch. That ball is struck solid into left field. That'll be a base hit. Runners will be at the corners now with 1 out. Bradley Moulette picking up his 2nd hit of the day. 2-hit Moulette, you might call him. Kind of in the spirit of the Royals and now Blue Jays, Whit Merrifield. He was always known as 2-hit Whit.
He has really fallen apart recently.
Really? Okay. He just needed to stay a Royal. Now here comes Ross Frank, who has pitched a masterpiece on the mound for the Lobos here in this tournament opener. Frank hits it ball hard and past the shortstop for an RBI single. Jogging in to score is Kerwin Lowing. Bradley Moulette moves on to second base, and Ross Frank picks up his first hit in 4 plate appearances, and the score is now 8-2 in favor of the Rocky Mountain Lobos. Sure, some folks watching back in the Fort Collins area just having a lot of fun. Maybe after the game you should go to Fort Fun and have even more fun. Ball is hit to the shortstop, could be 2. Flip to second, in time, throw to first, also in time, and that's a double play to retire the side. A 6-4-3 double play ends what was a huge myriad of insurance runs for the Rocky Mountain Lobos in the home half of the 6th inning. 8 men come to the plate for Rocky Mountain. They score a total of 4 runs, all earned on 5 hits. There were no errors, and there were no men. There was 1 man left on base. Through 6 innings of play here at Dave Plouffe Field in Rapid City, South Dakota, it's the Rocky Mountain Lobos 8 and the Missoula Mavericks 2. You're watching special Firecracker tournament coverage of the on Hard Hats TV. Mike Fell, Oliver Fell with you. We move to the 7th and final inning.
Matosich.
And coming up to bat will be Owen McGinn for the Missoula Mavericks. And the Mavericks right now staring down the barrel of dropping to 500. Of course, as a San Diego Padres fan, I'd be thrilled if my team with such a big payroll could even get to 500. But the Missoula Mavericks potentially falling to 25-25 here in the tournament opener. They will need to score 6 runs
dropping to 0-1.
Oh yeah, more importantly, 0-1
and they'll have to play Pueblo right after this. That's going to be a very, very tough opponent. One of what I would project to be one of the top 3 teams going into this tournament. They come into this 18-3 with players from all over the relatively large town of Pueblo.
It's a big town. I've been to Pueblo a couple of times. My favorite thing about Pueblo is the river walk and the paddle boats you can take on the river walk. Here is a pitch for strike one and a pitch for strike two. Owen McGinn facing Ross Frank. Frank trying to, or rather, it's Brady Hall that's in there to close this game out. There's a swing and a miss and strike three and a punch out to lead off the festivities here in the seventh inning. The Missoula Mavericks now have gone down have had 8 consecutive batters retired by the Rocky Mountain Lobos.
Have you noticed the relief pitcher yet?
Yeah, it's Brady Hall.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I did.
Okay. Oh, good.
Here comes the pitch from Hall, and that pitch is outside for a ball. Count is 1-1. Pitcher of record for the Rocky Mountain Lobos, Ross Frank. Ross goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs. Very impressive day for Ross, who also was good at the plate as well.
I don't remember, but I think I don't know if either of those were earned either.
Wow. Here comes the pitch, and that pitch is high and off the plate. You have to really like how Hall works. He works very quickly. You would never need a pitch clock for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes a pitch from Brady. That's a swing and a miss off of the catcher. And now the umpire's coming out and giving a ball to Ross Frank. And this umpire, he moves with a purpose. Gets back behind the plate. Really appreciate the umpires. It's a real honor as an umpire to be asked to be at the Firecracker tournament.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure he's doing plenty of days.
Yep. Ball is struck to third base. It's handled there. Throw to first is in time for out number 2. That's a 5-3 put out across the diamond. And now the Missoula Mavericks, who have had 9 consecutive batters retired, will try to somehow, some way turn their fortunes around with their back against the wall here as Colin Boyce, the shortstop, who is 0 for 2 today, comes up to battle against Brady Hall. The Mavericks are down to their final out here in the visiting half of the 7th inning. First pitch is outside for a ball. Second pitch also outside for a ball. Colin Boyce just needs to somehow reach first base, and the Mavericks staring at the possibility as the third pitch is inside and outside the plate for ball 3. Mavericks trying to avoid an 0-1 start to this tournament right here, right now. And that pitch is over for a strike as Boyce was taking on that 3-0 count. Boyce now regroups, waits for the 3-1 pitch, and the ball is fouled out of play for strike 2. And now the Missoula Mavericks are down to their final strike here in the opener of the Firecracker tournament. Pitch is hit hard by Boyce, and it is going to be caught for the final out in right field. The Rocky Mountain Lobos from Fort Collins, Colorado, defeat the Missoula Mavericks 8-2. An impressive performance by starter Ross Frank, and a non-save situation finish by Brady Hall. And the Lobos get a great round of applause from all of the fans who have made the trip north from Fort Collins. Both teams now pump fists and salute one another, showing great sportsmanship in the American Legion tradition. And congratulations to the Rocky Mountain Lobos. They are 1-0 to start the tournament. The Missoula Mavericks fall to 0-1 here in tournament play, and they will get ready to take on their opponent coming up, the well-regarded, highly regarded Pueblo Azteca team from Pueblo, Colorado. That was a really solid win, however, fell for the Rocky Mountain Lobos to start the tournament.
Yeah, it's a great work for them. I mean, it was not an easy one. Where there were moments there where it looked like Missoula was going to equalize, but they kept their foot on the pedal. Their pitching was good enough, and they were able to come away with the win. That'll be a great start for them. They get to go back to the hotel happy, or maybe watch some more games. They're done for the day. Missoula, not so. They'll have to play that Azteca team. Azteca, we're warming up out in the or in our cages in there. They're getting set for their game. So back-to-back Colorado opponents for Missoula. I'm sure they saved somebody good for game 2. And we'll be back with that in a little bit. Overall, this whole thing going about an hour 28
It's
in
a fast
totality.
moving game. Let's go ahead and give the final totals, why don't we? For the Rocky Mountain Lobos, they defeat the Missoula Mavericks 8-2. The Lobos with 8 runs on 8 hits. They committed only 1 error. And for the Missoula Mavericks, they only committed 1 error, but the Mavericks only had 2 runs on 3 hits. And the winning pitcher for the Rocky Mountain Lobos, Ross Frank. Losing pitcher for the Missoula Mavericks, Sam Matosic. And as you mentioned, Oliver, the game on a beautiful day here in Rapid City. At least it's beautiful before the storm clouds start to build to the west of our ballpark. The Mavericks and the Lobos gave us a great opening game. Congratulations to the Rocky Mountain Lobos. They are 1-0 here in the Fitzgerald in the Firecracker tournament. For Oliver Fell, this has been Mike Fell saying thanks for watching. And as Oliver mentioned, game number 2 comes your way next.
Probably about 20 or 30 minutes. They'll probably move it up a little if I were to guess.
There we go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.